Carl here from Wani, and hanging out with me today is a woman with a voice and a talent that comes along once in a lifetime. She is a vocalist for quite literally the best live band of the year, and whether it's an interview or just shooting the breeze, she always winds up being my personal favourite conversation of the year also. I'm beyond stoked to be here catching up once again with the wonderful Cristina Scabbia of Lacuna Coil. Cristina, thank you for making the time to hang out once again today.
Well, hello. Thank you for the super nice words.
It's all true. It's all true.
Wow.
100%. So you and the guys have had an exceptionally busy year this year. Outside of your live shows, you kicked things off with your 20th anniversary 119 show in London, which I was at, and it was incredible.
Thank you.
You've been working tirelessly on the band's Memoir, Nothing Stands in Our Way. You were the judge on The Voice of Italy, and just this week you premiered your 119 DVD on the big screen, which I'll admit I am ashamed that I missed. I apologise.
Don't worry.
But that's just to name but a few things. So now that the end of the year is coming up, have you had any time at all to stop for a second and just reflect on what an incredible and very unique year this has been for you and the band?
Well, we actually took a break because we had a 3 weeks of a break for like holidays to recharge the batteries. But even when we take breaks, we are always brainstorming on ideas, and we're always looking forward to things that we have to do. So now we'll be on tour again soon. It will be a short one to promote the DVD. So it will be only in a few territories because we decided to focus on the songwriting for the new record. So we will only be touching some territories like Germany, Switzerland, Belgium. We have a show in Italy, Netherlands, and we'll spend a couple of weeks on the road to promote the DVD.
Very cool.
And the book that will come out at the same time.
Very cool. And yeah, because I always catch up with you abroad. I can't remember the last time we caught up here in Dublin, Ireland. I cannot remember when the last time that was. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again sometime. And I'd love to talk with you a little bit about the 119 night. I mean, the logistics and rehearsals and investment and so on that goes into putting on a show like that is a pretty intimidating thought. I mean, in the end, you guys pulled it off flawlessly, and the DVD and record are both fantastic, and they're just such strong reflections of that night's triumph. But even with all the preparation that went into it, I mean, you carried fire, people were swinging on ropes. Was there any nervousness or trepidation on the night or even during the show that something could go horribly wrong? Or when you got up there, was there like a zen moment where it just kind of all clicked?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was so nervous even during the performance, because the pre-production took a long time, because for the first time we were not the only ones on stage, but we were sharing the space with performing artists that were not singing and playing, so they would have to hang from the ceiling or just like walk around with fire or other effects. So it was all really difficult to organize, let alone the fact that we have never met the guys of Incandescence, which is the name of the circus who came on stage with us before 2 days. I believe it was like 2 days prior to the show, because Andrea and I went to Bristol because we rehearsed a couple of parts of the show. So we rehearsed with fire, because I never used fire in my life, so that was another thing to add to the complicated performance. Then they lift me up on that parachute skirt, and that was really weird as well for me, to sing from up high with a harness around my hips that was hurting like crazy. And then Andrea and I, with the circus, moved to London, where we met the guys in Lacuna Coil that flew there, and we rehearsed the same day of the show. So the day of the show, of the actual show, we played the show twice with no breaks, as it was the real one, because we had to see that everything could be perfect, choreographically, with all the special effects, with all the breaks, with all the lights, and the crew filming the DVD was there, so they obviously needed to see what was going on, to see the old show and to be able to capture the most important moments as well. So it was insane. There was a lot of stress involved, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of mails, because there is a lot of stuff that's going on. Whenever you organize even a regular gig, there was a lot of pre-production on a show like this, on a one-off show like this. It took 10 times more, probably more, 10 times the work of a regular show. I mean, it was really stressful, but I'm so happy that it came out beautifully.
The fact that you did that so many times in one day, I'm surprised that when we were hanging out afterwards that you could stand. So that's just really impressive.
Well, because afterward, I was so relieved because the show went great. Everybody was happy. We didn't have any problems, because that was my fear, because it was something really new for us, and I had no idea if we could pull it out completely and successfully. So at the end of it all, I was like, okay, wow, yes, now we can celebrate for real.
Of course.
And it was the first time we were performing in the new outfits as well.
Yes.
So for me, it was a little bit uncomfortable because, the long skirt kind of deprived me of a lot of movements that I usually do on stage, because I usually walk around and jump and feel really comfortable. With that outfit, it was more of a different kind of visual. So I had to stand more still and communicate more, with my hands and eyes. And then on the parachute thing, I had to sing without a microphone. So it was weird for me to not have a microphone in my hands. I felt naked. It was a very, definitely special show.
Absolutely.
For many reasons.
And just when you said there visually, I love it, because you've always believed that it's important to keep a very strong visual within the Lacuna Coil shows, and that you strive to kind of combine the topic of the record at the time with the band's image. And for the one,
I mean, according to the possibilities, to the budget, because sometimes it's not easy to bring like a visual show around the world, because you have to travel. Sometimes you cannot really bring your equipment around because you have to save money in some cases, and time and space. But I always thought that it was more entertaining for whoever comes to the show, wants to see a show, because of course they know your music, they know you can play, they want to enjoy your music and your voice, but at the same time they're there to see you. So in a way, I find it disrespectful if you just show up there and just like, yeah, okay, I woke up like this and I just went on stage. It's like, yeah, your music is speaking for you, but I want to have the cool image to come with, just to share even more and to show even more that I care about you guys coming to the show and spending time with us.
I love that. And there were so many highlights and standout moments over the course of nearly 30 songs that night. And 30 songs, that's impressive enough in itself on any given night. I mean, End of Time was simply beautiful. I Like It went down a treat. And then your solo performance for Wide Awake while you were suspended in the rafters was just heartbreakingly good.
Thank you.
That's just a few examples. But while the whole night was, of course, an incredibly momentous occasion for you, was there any one song or one moment in the show that just stands out for you above all else?
Well, for me personally, definitely the parachute thing, because I just felt this weird sensation when I was up there, to see all the crowd in front of me, just like looking at me so surprised and enchanted. It was a great feeling. I really felt this two songs up there. Even though, again, I was controlling the pain on the hips, because it was really painful, to be lifted up there. You don't see it throughout the parachute skirt, luckily, but my hands were like, my legs were like frog legs. They were trying to keep the balance because I didn't want to move too much the suspension, because I was afraid that I would turn around and maybe give my shoulders to the crowd without wanting, because I was like, I have no idea, I never did suspensions like this. I've rehearsed for a few days, but I'm not a pro.
Well,
and it was weird.
If you're not a pro, you still put all pop stars to shame. You handled that like a pro.
Because once you're there, like, the show must go on. It doesn't really matter. Never show Never show how you really feel. If it hurts, whatever, you know it, but no one else has to know.
And I'd love to talk about so I could talk about with you all night, you know that. I'd love to talk about the band's Memoir, Nothing Stands in Our Way, which is very nearly with us, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. What was it about the band's 20th anniversary that kind of sparked the desire to portray Lacuna Coil's legacies so far in a book and share with your fans?
Well, I mean, 20 years as a goal of, you know, just like being in a band, it's not a thing that a lot of bands can talk about.
Absolutely.
And in the future it will be even more difficult, because now the new bands, the new artists, sometimes are not lasting so long. Absolutely. For different reasons. The market changed, the fans have no patience anymore to follow the career of a band. So we've been lucky that we started in a period where people really wanted to fall in love not only with the music, but also with the band, with the members of the band, wanted to know more about the band, wanted to follow the band around the world and the history of the band step by step. So we wanted to celebrate the fact that we are still here doing what we love, with a huge support from our amazing fan bases. And we wanted something cool to celebrate this. So we thought about a book, because we are constantly getting questions in interviews. How did you start it? How did you guys meet? What did you do to get to this level of as a band? So we decided to combine a photo book, and that was really, really difficult to convey, because 20 years ago there were no digital cameras, so there was no internet. It's not like now. Now, if you're looking for an information or a picture, you just like type it on Google, Safari, whatever, and you find it. We had to collect like real pictures, scan them, clear them. A lot of pictures went lost because they are maybe in our very, very old phones, but they don't have the right quality to be printed, and that was another factor. We had to take out all the memories that we had, like from old flyers, posters, letters from the label, because back then we were working with letters sent to the post office and, you know, got at your house after days of traveling. Time was like different, budget was different, competition was different, everything was different back then. So we had to make a long work of collecting things. And we thought that it would have been cool for everyone who likes us as a band, and for everyone who wants to know more about us, to find out what really happened from day one, even before day one, you know, from the day we all met each other. So through interviews to the members of the band, collecting the memories, but also interviews to managers, to people working at Century Media, people working around us in all these years, to give a full perspective and a full story, a complete story. And the DVD, of course, it was coming along perfectly, because it was like, okay, we have a show that celebrates the birthday of Lacuna Coil on 1/19, which is the Lacuna Coil day, and also a book that goes together, that it's beautiful to display, but it's a beautiful, beautiful photographic book with good quality that you can just keep as a collector.
Love it, love it. And, you know, this year, you know, at both ends of the year, at the beginning, you kicked it off with, you know, performing a storming anniversary show, and then at the other end of the year, have a book about the band's life up until now. Is there a sense of having achieved everything you guys set out to do, or does this simply honour the history and close a chapter for the band, as well as marking the beginning of a new one?
To be honest, I feel that we are starting all over with every new record. I love the fact that we all in the band are very curious about life in general, and music and books and soundtracks and video games and everything surrounding us. So we don't really consider ourselves a band that has 20 years of history behind. We are still very we have a fresh mind. We like to evolve and to transform ourselves We don't want to sit down and do the same thing all over just because we know that we have fans that are expecting this. We always like to take challenges and do something slightly different from what we did before, because we know that the core will always will always be the same, will always stay the same. But we like to change and keep it fresh.
Very cool. I love it. And one of the things I've always loved about Lacuna Coil is that you guys always had your own sound. You nurtured it, developed it, and in my opinion, no one does what you guys do as well as you guys do it. Which I and a lot of other artists I've had the pleasure of speaking with feel is actually something pretty rare these days. Many feel music culture is in a state of what is referred to as retromania, that it has addiction to its own past. And I remember hearing you yourself say that it's kind of all a cycle, and at the moment nothing is really new. I would love to get your thoughts as to whether or not you agree that there is a state of retromania happening in metal and music culture right now, or do you feel otherwise?
There is a sort of a retromania in a lot of things.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
Think about movies, a lot of like remakes of cult movies, just because there is a lot of people that never saw these cult movies, so they're trying to reproducing the same vibe from the past into something new. I still believe in what I said. Nothing is really new. It's just an evolution or a combination of something that existed before. You can be as original as you want, but there will always be someone that will say, "Oh, this reminds me of this or that," or "Oh, I've heard this somehow before in the past," or "I've watched something similar." I think that the most important thing is just to produce what you really love. To play what you love, to sing what you really love, because this is the only way to be convincing to whoever, in our case, come to our shows or buys our records, because we've always been honest and we put out something that we really liked. We never had we've never been so pretentious to say, "Oh, we created something that nobody ever did before." We do our thing. We write the music that we feel we like, and luckily for us, there is people who gets connected to us through our music and through what we say and through how we present ourselves on the social medias. We've never been so, so snotty to say, "Yeah, there's nobody else just like us."
Yeah, no, you've never given me the snotty vibe in all the time that I've been going to see and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, but sometimes it seems that if you don't give a snotty, if you're not snotty and if you don't tell the world that you're the best, it looks like it's a handicap. But to me, it's just like, do what you fucking do best with love, whatever. I mean, you're not playing music because you have to show off. You do it because it's fucking cool already. It's already something special.
I'm going to get that printed on a t-shirt with your name at the end of it. I actually am. So, and thank you for that priceless insight there. And, I've only got a couple of questions left for you. And one is, when it comes to the future of metal, I mean, we could ponder all day about what it may or may not look like, and because the legends of the genre will all eventually one day bow out and call it a day, and the torchbearers, will pick up the mantle, and hopefully, as you rightly said earlier on, if newer bands today can survive the industry or just the current state, the cycle will continue. But ultimately, the question I'm curious about your opinion on is: are you confident or concerned for the future of it all?
I am not concerned, because I think that it's an evolution. I think it will be constantly transforming, but I don't see it disappearing, because when I think about the last 20 years, for example, we started with cassettes. We started with a promo cassette that, of course, is not existing anymore. And I remember when CD came out, everybody was like, "Oh, that will never work. Oh my god, how we're going to do it without cassettes." Then CD took over. Then when the CD wasn't working anymore that well, and everybody was talking about streaming, everybody was shaming streaming and MP3s. because, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I mean, things are changing. I mean, we just have, to hold hands with the future, because I mean, it's happening. It doesn't really matter. Music will be present because people need music. People need to listen to music. So it will not be something that will die. Maybe it would only change the way it's presented, the way it's broadcasted, the way it's produced. But I don't see music going anywhere.
Love it. And finally, Cristina, it would be too hard for me not to let you go without asking, after all of this, about the future for the band, because when we spoke at the beginning of the year, you said that the band had been collecting ideas for new music with the idea of beginning to work on a new record. So since then, how's that process come along, and can fans begin to get excited for new Lacuna Coil music, or whatever you feel you can share at this time?
Well, they definitely have to get excited because we are starting, to work on a new record. Even though I have to say there are no songs ready at all, because our head right now, it's on tour mode, and to work on the book and the DVD, required so much time that we honestly didn't focus properly on the songwriting. So as soon as we'll be back home after the Euro tour that we're approaching, we will focus on the songwriting, and then the thing will be real. But so far we didn't really have a lot of time, and most of all the right mindset to compose the music. And we want to do it in a very serious way, and in a way that we know that we can produce good stuff. So. Absolutely. But soon, we're planning a new record for next year.
Love it.
Hopefully we'll make it.
I'm sure, no doubt. Cristina, I've got so much to congratulate you for, so I'm just going to congratulate you on an amazing 2018, and please pass it on to the guys as well. I wish you only the very, very best for the rest of the year and beyond, and I really look forward to hanging out with you again, my friend.
Me too. Hopefully see you soon.
Definitely. Have a great day, Cristina.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.